reference.
Yeah, so for those is the Amalek narrative.
Which is a very specific historical reference.
Yeah, so for those who might not have, a degree in ancient biblical history, Amalek was an ancient tribe described in the Hebrew Bible.
Right, they attacked the Israelites from behind when they were wandering in the desert.
Exactly. They specifically targeted the weak and the tired. Because of that cowardice, Amalek basically became the archetype of the eternal cosmic enemy.
And what's fascinating here is what the report highlights how these radical sects take that ancient mythic label of Amalek and they just paste it directly onto modern Jewish people.
It's a profound manipulation.
It really is. They aren't criticizing a modern political state or even a specific individual policy. They are turning a living, breathing demographic into a mythological supervillain.
Wow. And the report specific.
All right. So shalom, shalom. Shalom, Israel, coming back at you with another lesson. Lord willing, this is edifying. First off, giving all praises, all honor, all glories to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Ruach HaKodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elder bishops, the great millstone, and all the teachers out there pushing this word in truth with truth and sincerity. May you be of the elect. Shalom to all the Akim and the Aqua out there that are listening and learning. You Israelites, so-called Negroes, Hispanic, Native, and Seminole Indians, who are the true children of Israel, as well as you speckled bird, Israelite foreigners, the Israelites that look like, act like, and take on the customs of all these heathen nations. So to you, I say shalom, and may you be of the elect. This lesson is brought to you by the Spirit and the power of Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai. Yahweh being the true name of our Father, the God of the Bible, the God of the Israelites, Bahashem meaning in the name, and Yahweh Shai being the only begotten Son of Yahweh, who the world ignorantly calls by the name of JC. All right, and this lesson is based on this Mr.Judge character. All right, and first off, I would like to say this: I understand why this Edomite would be so, trying to protect his own, like anybody would be trying to protect their own. But no, motherfucker, you need to learn more about who certain nations of people are, right? Because what you guys said is absolutely false, right? When the Israelite camps are out there talking about Esau, we are speaking about a specific people that are still around today, all right? So without any further ado, we're going to prove that little narrative that he was speaking on is bullshit, all right? So the name of this lesson is Mr.Judge, Misjudged, right? Mr.Judge, Misjudged. And again, with the Amalek narrative, I marked it down where they specifically said it at the timestamp of 7 minutes, 45 seconds, all the way into the 8th minute mark in 30 seconds. All right. Now, Amalek is the grandson of Esau, and we're going to go into that. All right. First off, let me close up this. We're going to go to the book of Genesis, starting at the very beginning when all this came to be, right? When all this came to fruition. This is Genesis chapter 25, starting at verse 23, right? And it reads, and Yahweh said unto her, right? Talking about Rebekah. Yahweh said unto her, 2 nations are in thy womb. So 2 separate nations are within her womb, okay? And 2 manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels. And the one people shall be stronger than the other people, and the elder shall serve the younger. All right? Now, keep reading. All right? Keep that in mind, though. It said 2 separate nations, all right, and 2 separate manner of people, all right? And that the older, the one that comes out first, is going to serve the younger, the one who came out last, okay? Now, verse 24, Genesis 25 and verse 24, the birth of Esau and Jacob, okay? Notice it said the birth of Esau and Jacob. It didn't say the birth of Jacob and Esau. It said the birth of Esau and Jacob, and we're going to know why. Verse 24, Genesis 25 and 24, it says, and when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb, and the first came out red all over like a hairy garment, and they called his name Esau. All right? Came out red all over like a hairy garment. Red. All right? So let's get that in mind. Red. Okay? Now, verse 26, it says, and after that came his brother out. Who would that be? Jacob, right? And his hand took hold of Esau's heel, and his name was called Jacob, or Yahiquab in the Hebrew, right? And Isaac was 80 years old when she bare them. She meaning Rebekah, okay? And the boys grew, and Esau was a cunning hunter, a man of the field, and Jacob was a plain man dwelling in tents. All right. Let's see. Do I want to read more into that? That was pretty much the point, really, in verse 26. But go back to verse 23. Genesis 25 and 23. It says, and Yahweh said unto her, Rebekah, 2 nations are in thy womb. 2 nations are in thy womb, and 2 manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels, and the one people shall be stronger than the other people, and the elder shall serve the younger. The elder shall serve the younger, right? Do not dismiss that. The elder shall serve the younger. Now, verse 25. It says, and the first came out red all over like a hairy garment, and they called his name Esau. So the first one that came out was Esau. The older brother came out first, red, and called his name Esau. Go back to verse 23 again. Genesis 25 and 23. It says, the one people shall be stronger than the other people, and the elder shall serve the younger. The elder shall serve the younger. Okay? Now we have that understanding. Now let's go to who Amalek is, because that is the prime subject of this matter. This is Genesis chapter 36. And this is talking about Esau's descendants, right? You read all of Genesis 36. They give you Esau's descendants, but I'm going straight to the gut punch, right? This is Genesis 36, starting at verse 12. And Timnah was a concubine, right? And Timnah was a concubine to Eliphaz, Esau's son, and she bare to Eliphaz Amalek. See that? I'm going to read it again. Genesis 36 and 12. And Timnah was concubine to Eliphaz, Esau's son. So you got Esau and you got Esau's son, and then Eliphaz bare Amalek. So that makes Amalek what? The grandson of Esau, right? These were the sons of Adah, Esau's wife. All right. Now, if you go to Genesis 36 and verse 22 to know about Timnah, it says, and the children of Lotan were Hori and Hemem, and Lotan's sister was Timnah. Right? But point being, in verse 12, Genesis 36 and 12, right? Showing you the birth of Amalek, who is the grandson of Esau. Okay? He's the grandson. Let me see here. Yeah, matter of fact, you know what? I'm going to do that. I'm going to read Genesis 36. I'm going to read 8 through 12 because I just got straight to the point, verse 12. I'm going to start at verse 8. Genesis 36 and verse 8. Thus dwelt Esau, right, the elder brother of Jacob, right, from Rebekah and Isaac. Thus dwelt Esau in Mount Seir. Esau is Edom. Esau is Edom. And these are the generations of Esau, the father of the Edomites, in Mount Seir. These are the names of Esau's sons: Eliphaz, the son of Adah, the wife of Esau; Ruel, the son of Bashemath, the wife of Esau. And the sons of Eliphaz were Teman, Omar, Zepho, and Gatam, and Kenaz. And Timnah was concubine to Eliphaz, Esau's son, and she bare to Eliphaz Amalek. These were the sons of Adah, Esau's wife. All right? So now that you have that understanding of who this Esau is and the Edomites, all right, the progenitor of the Edomites, okay? And now we know who Amalek is. Amalek is the grandson of Esau. We cannot dismiss this, right? It's very important that you understand that. Amalek is the grandson of Esau, okay? Now, let's go to, because they tried to say, we're just randomly calling certain people wicked or evil. Well, they are. These people are the wicked, all right? And we're going to get that through, let me get it real quick. No, I don't want like a Malachi, all right? This is Malachi chapter 1, and I'm going to read 1 through 4. It says, and this is subtitled, God's Great Love for Israel, all right? Is great love for Israel, because when you read the stories prior to this, you understand that the name was Jacob, all right? Wrestled with an angel and became the name Israel, right? That's where you get the 12 tribes from, right? Two of them spawned from Joseph, all right? Now, starting at verse 1, Malachi 1 and verse 1, the burden of the word of Yahweh to Israel by Malachi. I have loved you, saith Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. Yet ye say, wherein hast thou loved us? Was not Esau Jacob's brother? Saith Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. Yet I loved Jacob, and I hated Esau, and laid his mountains and his heritage waste for the dragons of the wilderness. Whereas Edom saith, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. Thus saith Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai of hosts, they shall build, but I will throw down, and they shall call them, other nations, right? They shall call them the border of wickedness, and the people against whom Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai has indignation forever. Forever. Indignation forever. Now, we can grab this understanding in the book of Exodus. This is Exodus chapter 17. And I'm just going to start at verse 8. Exodus chapter 17, verse 8. And it's subtitled, Israelites Battle Amalek. Right? Basically, Jacob battles Esau, okay? So you can get some understanding of this. Because remember, Amalek is the grandson of Esau. Right? And Esau is the older brother of Jacob. Right? And remember, it said Esau came out red all over. Right? Now, this is Exodus 17 and verse 8. It says, then came Amalek and fought with Israel in Rephidim. And Moses said unto Joshua is the son of Nun, right, which was Moses' successor, right? Choose us out men and go out, fight with Amalek. Tomorrow I will stand on the top of the hill with the rod of the Most High in mine hand. So Joshua did as Moses had said to him and fought with Amalek. And Moses, Aaron, and Hur, right, which is the chief assistant, went up to the top of the hill. And it came to pass when Moses held up his hand that Israel prevailed. And when he let down his hand, Amalek prevailed. But Moses' hand were heavy. And they took a stone and put it under him, and he sat thereon. And Aaron and Hur stayed up his hands, the one on the one side and the other on the other side. And his hands were steady until the going down of the sun. And Joshua discomfited Amalek and his people with the edge of the sword. So basically, Joshua and his company got down on Amalek and whooped that ass. Okay? And Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai said unto Moses, write this for a memorial Write this for a memorial in a book, and rehearse it in the ears of Joshua. For I will utterly put out the remembrance of Amalek from under heaven. Now, let's go back to Malachi. Malachi 1 and verse 4. It says, whereas Edom saith, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. Thus saith Yahweh Shai of hosts, they shall build, but I will throw down, and they shall call them the border of wickedness. Who's called the border of wickedness? The Israel, or the Edomites, right? Esau's descendants, Amalek. Okay, the people against and the people against whom Yahweh Shai hath indignation forever. Indignation forever. Now we're going back to this Exodus chapter 17 and verse 14. And Yahweh Shai said unto Moses, write this for a memorial in a book, and rehearse it in the ears of Joshua, for I will utterly put out the remembrance of Amalek from under heaven. Remember that, that indignation forever. Okay, indignation forever. So he says to put out the remembrance of Amalek from under heaven. Verse 15. And Moses built an altar and called the name of it Jehovah Nissi. For he said, because Yahweh hath sworn that Yahweh will have war with Amalek from generation to generation. See that? So no, you are greatly despised, Esau, Edom. All right? Got that? Oh, let's go to that's prime. That is absolutely prime. This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 35. And I'm going to read 1 through 15. I mean, the whole chapter, which is what I'm going to read, is the whole chapter. But this is telling you, again, the descendants of Esau, the Edomites, all right, Amalek being the grandson of Esau. And this is telling you how wicked they are. So much to the point, again, that Yahweh Shai said indignation forever, and to put out the remembrance of these people. Okay? Ezekiel 35 verse 1. The judgment of Mount Seir. The judgment of Esau, right? Pretty much. Moreover, the word of Yahweh came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Mount Seir, and prophesy against it, and say unto it, Thus saith the Lord power, Behold, O Mount Seir, I am against thee, and I will stretch out my hand against thee, and I will make thee most desolate. I will lay the cities waste, and thou shalt be desolate, and thou shalt know that I am Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. And don't these devils always try to do that shit? Take some stuff and try to build, right? To make all the homes look just like where they're from, right? With the columns and the pitched roof, right? Like if you go to visit Mount Seir, right? What's the other spot? I forget the name of it. Matter of fact, when you watch the movie, what was it, Indiana Jones and the Lost Crusade, they show a quick imagery of where Esau came from. All right, and you see the home basically built inside the rock with the columns, and living in those caves. That was them. Okay, it says right, because we read that Esau said that they will build, but the Lord will throw down. That's them constantly building. The Lord gonna throw all that shit down, man. Not one stone is gonna be left standing when Yahweh Shai and Michael come through and wreck shop. Right, with the mighty men of Israel. All right, so it says Ezekiel 35 verse 3, and say unto it, Thus saith the Lord power, Behold, O Mount Seir, I am against thee, and I will stretch out my hand against thee, and I will make thee most desolate. I will lay the cities waste, I will lay thy cities waste, and thou shalt be desolate, and thou shalt know that I am Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. Because thou hast had a perpetual hatred, and has shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword in the time of their calamity, in the time that their iniquity had an end, right? Because we were punished, yes, because we transgressed Yahweh Shemel Shai. But Esau took it upon himself to help forward the affliction past what we were supposed to have because of his perpetual hatred. And that goes back to Jacob and Esau, right? When Jacob, well, no, when Esau sold his birthright to Jacob, and Esau therefore despised his birthright, and he hated his brother Jacob because Jacob got the blessing. Esau got a blessing too. He got the fat of the land. He got the best of the land. But Jacob got the birthright that Esau sold to him. He didn't steal it. He sold it to him because he didn't care about it. Right? It says, let's see, verse 6, Ezekiel 35 and verse 6. Therefore, as I live, saith the Lord power, I will prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee. Since thou hast not hated blood, even blood shall pursue thee. Thus will I make Mount Seir most desolate, and cut off from it, and cut off from it him that passes out, and him that returneth. And I will fill his mountains with his slain men. In thy hills and in thy valleys and in all thy rivers shall they fall that are slain with the sword. I will make thee perpetual desolations, and thy cities shall not return. And you shall know that I am Yahweh Shemel Shai. Because thou hast said, these two nations and these two countries shall be mine, and we will possess it, whereas Yahweh Shemel Shai was there. Therefore, as I live, saith the Lord power, I will even do according to thine anger, and according to thine envy, which thou hast used out of thy hatred against them, right? Esau, Amalek, against the Israelites, the Negroes, the Hispanics, the Native and Seminole Indians. Okay? That perpetual hatred that we still see today. It's been going on forever. Ain't nothing new under the sun. Just different time, different season. All right? Therefore, as I live, saith the Lord power, I will even do according to thine anger and according to thine envy, which thou hast used out of thy hatred against them. And I will make myself known among them when I have judged thee. And thou shalt know that I am Yahweh Shemel Shai, and that I have heard all thy blasphemies, which thou hast spoken against the mountains, the government of Israel, saying, they are laid desolate. They are given us to consume, right? And did they not do that to us? Go back to slave days. Did they not get up over us and stole us and put us on auction blocks? And, you know, when Jake gave birth to babies, did they not put them on other plantations, sold them in other plantations, throwing our babies as alligator bait, right? Same stuff that was done in Egypt was done here in the new Egypt, America, Mystery Babylon the Great, right? The double straits. Same thing that was done then is the same thing that was done this day. All right. It says, verse 13, thus with your mouth ye have boasted against me, and have multiplied your words against me. I have heard them. Thus saith the Lord power, when the whole earth rejoices, I will make thee desolate, as thou didst rejoice at the inheritance of the house of Israel, because it was desolate, so will I do unto thee. Thou shalt be desolate, O Mount Seir, and all Idumea, even all of it. And they shall know that I am Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai. And guess what? When all these nations go into captivity, yes, the kingdom of heaven is going to have captivity. All right? Revelation 13:10. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. And the saints are only with the Israelites. Why the patience? Because we can't do nothing. Our weapons are not carnal. Right? We're waiting on Yahweh Shai to come through. He said vengeance is his. He gets the first lick. And why wouldn't he? What'd y'all do to him? What'd you do to his people? Huh? So yeah, he get first lick. When he throw his hands up for us to get down, we about to get down. But until then, here's the patience and the faith of the saints. The saints are only with the Israelites, the Negroes, the Hispanic, the Native and Seminole Indians, the elect judges of the 12 tribes of Israel. Okay? Now, remember what we read earlier. It said the elder shall serve the younger. Now, we know at this present point in time that the younger is serving the elder. Who's on top? Look at all the people in the whole face of the world. Who's on top? What nation of people is on top? Who's running shit? Whose face is on currency? Who pulls all the fucking strings in the world? Right? Now, who's on the bottom? Who's constantly shit on by any place we go? Constantly talked about, ridiculed, stereotyped, all that. And yet, in our lowest state, why everybody want to be like the niggas, the Hispanics, the Native and Seminole Indian? Why people want to be like them? If we the lowest of the low, why people want? Because they sense that God on us, man. We are the salt of the earth. Even in our lowest state, people want to be around us, be like us. But I digress. Okay? We see who's on top. It's the white man. Well, self-proclaimed white man. These are the Edomites. The one that came out red all over like a hairy garment. How we know we talking about the same people? Watch how so-called white people are born. What color are they? I'll give you another hint. Leave these same people outside. No shirt, no pants, nothing. All right? Leave them outside. Leave them outside in the sun. What color do they turn? I'll give you another hint. You make them mad. Maybe even embarrass them. What color do these so-called hot people change to? They turn red. Okay? That's their true color. That's the true coloration. And the Lord did that for a specific reason. When you go back to the beginning of Cain and Abel, right? Abel was slain by Cain, his brother. And the Lord marked his punk ass. Literally made him the scarlet red letter. So everybody would know who the wicked motherfucking soul is to this day. That would be the Edomites. Cain came back as Esau. Abel came back as Jacob. All right? And that same hatred Cain had towards Abel is the same hatred that Esau had towards Jacob. Right? Who later became Israel. Right? Where the 12 tribes come from. To summarize those 12 tribes would be the Negroes, the Hispanics, the Native and Seminole Indians. These same people that's on top today running things is the same ones that have a problem with the so-called Negroes, Hispanic, Native, Seminole Indians. Don't no other nation of people get down on us like the Edomites do. All right? But again, remember what we read earlier. It said the elder shall serve the younger. Because right now, it's the younger serving the elder, is it not? All right? Now, let's go to 2nd Esdras, chapter 6. And I'm going to start at verse 7. 2nd Ezra chapter 6, verse 7. Then answered I and said, what shall be the parting asunder of the times? Or when shall be the end of the first and the beginning of it that followeth? The beginning of the first. Well, again, we see who's on top right now. The Edomites, the red people who call themselves white, the nation of Edom, them of Mount Seir, Amalek's descendants, all right, the elder brother, all right, is on top right now. Okay? Then answered I and said, what shall be the parting asunder of the times, or when shall be the end of the first and the beginning of it that followeth? And he said unto me, from Abraham unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born, of him Jacob's hand held first the heel of Esau, because Jacob was what? The second born of Esau. Esau was the firstborn, remember? Right? It says, for Esau is the end of the world, the one who's on top right now, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. Jacob is going to be on top. And therefore, the elder shall serve the younger. We see who's on top right now. So we know that, the Edomites are still around to this present day. Huh? The Edomites are still here. All right? So y'all can get on with that bullshit. We know who the wicked is. The whole world knows who the wicked is. You just constantly trying to run from it with your lying forked tongues that you do. It's too late, man. All right, you can't stop prophecy. Prophecy said that you will be revealed in these last days. The man of perdition, the one that's condemned, and when all the nations have served their time in captivity, all right, Esau, Edom, his descendants, the Amalekites, Idumea, all right, all of them will have no more placements upon the face of the earth after they do their time. They're going to be absolutely, utterly destroyed. The only nation of people destroyed out of the human gene pool will be the Edomites, Esau's descendants, Amalek, the grandson of Esau, the Amalekites, motherfucking finito, bitch. Because you did the most atrocious things in earth. You spread the most lies. Hell, you got the whole globe of people thinking that Edomite is the son of the Most High God with the name JC. Fuck you. Yeah, stolen identity. That's what they did back then. Iconoclasm. But nowadays you can get in trouble for that. Ain't that a bitch? But that's okay. Your time is coming. Your card is punched. Esau, Amalek. You've been found out. So you might as well just face the music, motherfucker. You're through. Lord willing, this is edifying, giving all praises, all honor, all glories to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Racha, Kwadash. Double honors to the apostles, now the bishops of Great Millstone, and all the teachers out there pushing this word in truth with truth and sincerity. May you be of the elect. Stay prayed up, repent. Abba, Kwam Yasharallah. Shalom.